All right. Welcome, everybody, to the first day, the kickoff, really, of National Blind Sports Week, presented by Healthy Vision Association. I am your host, Kyle Kuhn, for this first Paralympic panel. Oh, my goodness gracious. We got quite the lineup, not just today, but all week. We've got so many things going on. Starting today, October 25th, and culminating on Saturday, October 30th, which will be I believe it'll be the 4th or 5th annual National Blind Sports Day. But for now, you guys, we are looking forward to having just one whale of a time with our four panelists today, where we are going to be chatting with four people that competed in Tokyo, were in the village, had some pretty amazing experiences. So we're going to go ahead and introduce you guys to our four panelists today. I want to go ahead and introduce, and guys, when I say your name, just give a wave, give a thumbs up, smile, do your best to look at the camera, all that fun stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and introduce our panelists today. We got David Brown, track and field. Give a wave, David.
Hi.
Faster than he runs. Look at that. We got Miss Kim Crosby, track and field.
Hey.
How's it going, Kim?
Good.
Bouncing over to Ben Goodrich. That is Judo. Careful with him. He might chuck you around if you.
It's okay.
If
we have a
careful.
computer screen between all of us.
Oh, I'm glad. And finally, last but not least, Amy Dixon Paratriathlon.
Good morning, teammate.
Good morning, indeed. And guys, as always, we are produced by producer extraordinaire Bill Kellick. So if any technical issues come up, send him the angry emails. I'm just kidding. Love you, Bill. All right, you guys. So, man, we are all sitting here. We're almost 2 months removed now from Tokyo. We've all had quite the it was quite the experience. So I actually want to go ahead and rewind just a little bit and ask everyone, just kind of throw it out to the panel. The 1 year delay. Looking back, was the 1 year, like, how did the 1 year delay affect each of you guys? And looking back, was the 1 year delay worth all the hard work and suffering that we put into it? So let's go ahead and just let's throw it out. We'll kick it off to we'll start with David Brown. David, why don't you kick us off?
You just volunteered me as tribute.
Yeah, I mean, let's hear it, man. Let's hear it.
Nah, but for me, honestly, it was a very chaotic year. Track and field, the class that I'm in, T11, I have to run with a guide. So I was separated from my guide for a while. Overall, though, I would say it was a huge benefit for me because I was able to piece together a lot of things that I didn't really know coming into this year, or even just as far as my track career up until that point, period. I was able to actually put together a lot of the concepts that I had in my head as far as sprinting goes and athleticism and stuff like that. And I was able to get in some real good shape and come into this year healthy and stronger and a better athlete, honestly.
Awesome. Amy, I know it was kind of a tough year for you in particular. Can you walk us through a little bit about how the year delay impacted you?
Well, for me, it was really not good. My blindness is due to an autoimmune condition, and it decided to pick the wrong time to come out of remission, which was last August. And it would have been right around the time we were due to compete in Tokyo in 2020. And it attacked my shoulder, and then I ended up having surgery in the fall, and then ended up with multiple blood clots in both of my lungs. And then I had what's called an infarction, where part of the lung tissue dies. And so I lost about 25% of my lung function and gained 40 pounds of fluid on my body because my heart wasn't functioning properly. So I was trying to train through all of this, having to run on an anti-gravity treadmill, then ended up with a stress fracture in my hip because of the extra weight on my body. So it was really, the delay really did not help me whatsoever. Luckily, paratriathlon is based on ranking. We don't necessarily have a one-day selection event like track and field does and other sports do. So based on my ranking, I was ranked in the top 6 in the world, and they take the top 10. So I literally, at the final selection event, which was the Pan American Championships in June, I literally just needed to cross the line in the top 3, which I knew, even though my fitness was nowhere near it had been in the past, that I was going to be able to do that. It took a lot of doctors and thousands of dollars of medications and PTs, and my team of doctors actually traveled with me to the selection event. And yeah, so I was able to qualify and go. It was definitely not the race that I had always dreamed of or imagined. This year, my body looked a lot different. And, I'm, instead of running 6.5-minute miles, I'm running, 9-minute miles. And so that's a long way off from being competitive, but was super, super grateful to even be there. So yeah, the extra year definitely did not help me. But I was grateful that I was able to go in some capacity and at least be able to compete and put together a race that I could be proud of for different reasons.
Awesome. Kim, why don't we throw it over to you? How was the extra year preparing, and ultimately how did that add to your experience in Tokyo?
Yeah, so at first, it took me a second to realize what was even going on in the world. And I was thinking like, oh, we were just we're about to gear up to start our season. Like, I was doing great. And then I was like, you know what? Let me not think negative about this. I get an extra year to really build my fitness and be better than I was the previous year. So I really used it to my advantage. I went to parks, ran barefoot, and I got into my high school track, even though I wasn't supposed to. And I honestly fell back in love with my sport again. And I had so much fun during the pandemic training, because there was no pressure behind it. I knew that I had lots of time. I had lots of time to heal my body because we had world championships in October before that. And we had to do a quick turnaround to get ready for Tokyo, but that extra year really allowed for my body to heal again and just have fun with my training.
So, and then Ben, I know with you, you and I, we have partners that live in different countries. So how did this year affect, that extra year affect, both the personal and the sports side of things?
Yeah. So the extra year was definitely an interesting thing. So I guess starting off in the beginning of 2020, in February, I was on a month-long trip overseas. I had traveled to Germany, to Sweden, to Georgia, and Japan. And I finished off with Georgia. And after we got back from Georgia, we had a meeting there at the training center, as you know, that they were like, oh, well, there's some things happening, so we might be shutting down soon, kind of thing. And I had just got back because I was just training all out. I was prepped as good as I could be. I felt like I was at the top of my game. I think I was obviously getting bothered by our nutritionist all the time. So I mean, I was in the peak performance there leading up into Tokyo, and when everything started getting shut down, it was definitely not a nice psychological feeling. It definitely was a difficult year. And then to add on the top, as you said, with the relationship aspect, not having judo to travel to meet my fiance is not the ideal situation either for relationship wise, let alone just sport. But with both of them combined, I didn't see her for 10 months. And so that was not an ideal situation. So psychologically, that didn't help the situation either. Tournaments got canceled. Both the tournaments in the spring, we didn't get anything rescheduled for the fall. So it was really hard. And then, as David said earlier, since he runs with a guide, he has to be like that. That's something that he missed out on, of not having a guide. Obviously, our adaptability, especially as Paralympians, I mean, our whole life has been about adaptability. And so we're trying to find ways this year to adapt through these situations so that we can come out the other end. As I said, I feel like my peak performance at the time was then at that time. I felt in February 2020, I felt better than I felt in February 2021. But all things set aside, I still found ways and opportunities to train judo. Instead of staying in the US where most dojos were shut down, I went over to Sweden. So I spent about 6 months in Sweden just so that I could train and have the ability to do that where there was maybe less restrictions. So made a way to be able to overcome those things and adapt to the situation within the pandemic. And I came out and I had a strong performance in Tokyo. So
yeah. I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, why don't we why don't we let people know, like, how did each of you guys do in Tokyo? Ben, since we ended with you last time, let's tell everyone how the games actually play out for you.
So the games played out quite well. Going into the games at the highest level tournaments at Grand Prix. Prior to that, the highest I had placed was bronze, and so I was looking to improve on that, and so I set out to get on the podium and hopefully to surpass that. And I came out ahead. I won my first match against a strong Russian player, or I guess what do we call them? We can't call them Russians. It's the Russian Federation or something. Or
something like
Russian
that. Olympic Federation.
yeah, Russian Olympic Committee.
Something like that.
But yeah, so I had a tough match against him first round, and then after that second round, I was able to beat the most winningest judoka on the Paralympic side in history to win in the semifinals, and then as well, and that's in the sport of judo, obviously. And then in the finals, I fought Britain. I unfortunately did not succeed in my match with the British judoka. He's a strong player. We fight a lot. He's a good guy. I'm happy for him. And I'm happy for taking silver. And silver was quite the accomplishment, and I'm super stoked about it.
Congrats.
So congratulations, man. Kim, how the games play out for you?
Well, in 2016 in Rio, I ended up getting the bronze medal. And I told myself that, Kim, next games, you're going to go home with something better than a bronze, because I had always kept getting bronze medals. And I ran my 100 first, and going into the final, I was ranked first with my seed time. And so, my confidence was pretty up, but I knew those girls were really good. And so I just had to stay focused on my own race and not what they were doing beside me. Ran the race. They ended up passing me towards like the very end of the race. Came home with the bronze in the 100. And then the 400 came, and I was not very confident in the 400 because those girls in the semifinals were running times that I had never even ran before. And I was just kind of low, and in the call room, I had to pick myself up, and my teammate was in there, and he told me, Kim, you got this. And so I was like, you know what? I do. I've been training for so long for the 400 because I have never medaled in the 400 before. And I wanted a 400 medal so bad. And I was going around the first 200 of the race. I was sitting in 6th place, and I couldn't see where anybody else was on the track. I was just focused on my own race. I knew what I needed to do and what I was practicing. And coming on the home stretch, I was sitting in 6th. Then I saw the girl next to me kind of struggling a little bit, and I ended up passing her and passing one other person as well. And then there was another girl who had tripped with like 30 meters left to go, ended up passing her as well. And I got on the podium again with another bronze medal. So 2 bronze medals this time. And super stoked about it. I felt like on top of the world after that 400 race.
Nice.
I was actually gone from Tokyo. I didn't even know that happened. I was like, race field.
Oh wow, that's so crazy. Like, yeah, so like let's go ahead and just let's throw it over to you, Dave, because you and Kim compete, in basically on the track and field team, and you guys were had quite the experiences over there in Tokyo, together. Similar to Amy and me competing in paratriathlon. So David, why don't you tell us from your perspective how did
Kim
Tokyo
were actually
go?
Training partners too. We both trained down in Chula Vista at the training center in San Diego here. I live here in Chula Vista. Kim, you on site right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I moved off site last year during the pandemic time. Ended up being able to rent a room, was able to still train. This past year for me, as far as training and competitions go, I think everybody could say it's been hard as far as competitions go. Training for me, it has been, excuse my French, literally hell. And I don't say that in a good way. It was very frustrating for me. Like me and my coach, we were talking about it just recently. And he was saying, Dave, you basically seemed like you checked out last year. I'm like, Coach, with all that was going on with me, you can pretty much say that I did, because at one point I just got to a point where I was just like, you know what, I just don't care anymore, because everything that was going on and everything that I was dealing with. But I was giving it my all in training. And Tokyo, for me, it was a different kind of experience. Back in Rio, I got gold in the 100 meters. Got the Paralympic record. This year, in Tokyo. My world record was broken by, well, I guess you could say technically two people, because two people ran faster than my world record. But of course, the one person that won, he's from Athens, Greece. I can't really pronounce his name. I'm drawing a blank on his name, so I'm not going to attempt to say it. He ran 10:82. I'm like, man, that guy was moving. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I'm happy for him. Like, this is what the games is all about. You know, it's all about running, moving forward. And 3 people, honestly, went under 11 seconds in that final, which is awesome. Personally, it didn't really go as well for me. I was dealing with running with a new guide, and crazy enough, I heard after the fact, going into the call room, I'll just put this out there. Going into that call room of the semifinals, we have to measure our tether out. They ended up saying my tether was too short, but I ran with that same tether that morning, and they gave me a yellow card. I don't know what a yellow card meant, but it didn't really sound too good, but they let me run anyway. Come to find out, I was disqualified before I even got on the track. So that call room in the semifinal, I pretty much was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out here and just finish. And it was freezing cold. And this was a funny thing too, because up until that point, it was very sunny and hot and very muggy. The 2 days I competed, it decided to be freezing rain.
How's that work?
Exactly. So, I mean, it was definitely just an experience in the sense of just getting out there, just getting through the season. That's what was up with me. I just wanted the season to be over. I was looking forward to afterwards. I just got married in September on the 18th. So I'm like, get back, get married, get to resting.
I don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you whatsoever. Oh, man. Amy, you and I actually competed on the same day at the exact same time. And our race, man, that was, it was quite a hot, humid, interesting experience, and very, very pretty crowded course out there. Like, why don't you walk us through a little bit about how that day played out in Paratriathlon?
Yeah, our race was literally the polar opposite of David's, where it was super hot. The water temperatures were 87 degrees, which for those of you who aren't familiar with water temperatures, that's like almost jacuzzi. It's like the warm therapeutic pool. If you're to go to your local YMCA, it's hotter than that. And then add in flying fish that were by the thousands everywhere in the bay where we were swimming. I was more nervous about punching a fish than I was actually about my race. I was like, please don't let me punch a fish. Please don't let me punch a fish. But yeah, so my race went pretty much as I expected. You're never gonna, very rarely are you going to outperform your training, right? On race day. Like you're not going to suddenly become 20% faster on race day just because you want to be. So, as it was in line with my training, the swim was exactly where I thought I would be. I thought I'd be out of the water in just about 14 minutes, which is 2 minutes slower than I normally swim when I'm healthy and fit. But that's where I've been swimming all year. And so I was like, okay, I anticipated that. And I raced with a guide named Kirsten Sass from Tennessee, and she's a physician's assistant, and she's been racing with me for 4 years. And, before the race, we just resolved to know that, a year ago, I would have been a contender for a medal. And then this year was not that year, given all the health challenges that I had. So our agreement on the starting line was to be safe and be smart and have fun out there and put together the best race that I could given my fitness. So, and that's what we did. So, and I knew that given, a lot of things would have to happen in my favor in order for me to finish where I would like to. I wanted to finish top 8 was my A goal. only because you get a certificate from like the Japanese government. But then I saw the certificate after the games was concluded, and I was like, well, it wasn't exactly that compelling to get that certificate anyway. It literally was like not very exciting. But my goal, so that was my A goal, and my B goal was to finish healthy and strong. I mean, like I said, I was running on an anti-gravity treadmill in Alter G for the past 8 months. So the only times that I had run on land, on actually dry land unassisted, were at the trials in June, at nationals in July, and in Tokyo. Beyond that, I hadn't run more than a quarter mile on pavement. So my expectations were pretty low. Had a great bike. It's a super fun bike course. It was technical. It was fast. It was hot. It was a little bit crowded out there, but not too bad. We weren't jockeying for a position too much. And I thought that they did a great job by separating out the categories. Normally when Kyle and I race, we have all the paratriathlon categories: standing, sitting, and wheelchair. Our standing, wheelchair, and VI all on the same race course. So it gets very, very congested. So I thought they really did a great job. And honestly, if you overheated in this race, you were an idiot, because there were aid stations every 500 meters. So it was like a barrage of ice and water. So literally the biggest obstacle for me was that I had changed the whole nothing new on race day thing. I had changed to a different race shoe. And mind you, I had only been running on a treadmill, and I hadn't practiced dumping lots and lots of water over my head prior to the race, because you're not going to dump a half a gallon of water over your head while you're on a treadmill, because you'll short it out. And so on race day, I'm going through the aid stations and dumping ice and water on my head. And halfway through the race, my shoes filled with so much water, they felt like they weighed 20 pounds each. And I felt like I was wearing galoshes. So I almost started to cry, because I was slowing down because my feet were so heavy. And I tapped my guide, Kirsten, on the shoulder. I said, I think I'm just going to ditch my shoes. And she's like, what? And I said, yeah, my feet are so heavy. I said, screw it. It's the Paralympics. I think I can run 2 laps barefoot. It'll be fine. My feet will be mutilated, but who cares? And she's like, Amy, the pavement is hot as SHI blank. So I was like, oh yeah, I didn't think about that. She's like, Amy, I appreciate that your feet are really heavy. However, that pavement is stupidly hot. Do not ditch your shoes. I was like, see, this is why you're the voice of reason in this relationship. So I kept my shoes on and was really suffering the last 2 laps of the run, and just kept slowing down precipitously. But at that point on the run, it was really cool. There was actually, when we got onto the main road, we actually had a lot of spectators for our race, because it was on an open course in the middle of the city, whereas, track and field and swimming are in closed buildings and closed arenas. We had the public out there, and they were 3 deep at the barricades the whole way around the run course. And people were, they loved the United States in Japan. It was crazy. So people were going, go Amy-san, go Amy-san. And so we had our own little cheering squad. And there was this group of teenage girls that every time we came around, if I even remotely acknowledged them with like a thumbs up, or if I smiled, they went crazy and they were screaming, and they're like, go Amy. So that really made the race for me. And as much as I didn't have the result or the race that I had imagined a year prior, it was the race that I was trained for, given how sick I've been. And I finished healthy and happy and grateful. And with the last 300 meters before the finish line, I said to Kirsten, I said, so we should do something when we cross the finish line. And she's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, we should bow. So I forget that we're tethered though. And so we go across the finish line, and I go to bow to the stands, and I go bow towards the finish line, and I almost yo-yoed off of my guide because we were tied together at my waist. So it was kind of an awkward bow, but it worked out fine, and people understood the gesture, I guess. So yeah, it was a really cool race. And that last lap was kind of like a victory lap, where we're high-fiving people and smiling, because at that point, I could have gained 1 or 2 places, but it wasn't exactly going to put me in medal contention. So I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to be able to be healthy enough to be back here again. I might as well just enjoy it and take all this atmosphere in and finish with a smile on my face and not passing out when I cross the finish line. So it was a good day.
See, that's actually pretty cool to me, because at the track, it was almost like a ghost town, just we didn't really get to interact with anybody like that. So to hear that you were able to like slap fives with people, and then people were there able to cheer and everything else, that's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it really made it. And it made me so sad for you guys. I mean, I even tried to like sneak credentials on Sunday, the day after my race, to go watch you guys the day after our race. I tried bribing people. I was like, oh, like, I'll give you this t-shirt if you can get me a credential to get me into track and field. and they're like, no, we can't. I'm like, oh, I just want to go cheer on my teammates. Like, I felt so bad that you guys didn't have like a group of people cheering you on.
To say it might not work too well when you try to get back in with that ID and your face didn't match.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They were not messing around. That is for darn sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was, oh man, yeah. I mean the security around the village in particular, I mean, it was a little bit, it was a surprise to me. I'm like, we're going in, and I don't know if any of you guys had the same issue, but I swear it took me. So guys, we have these credentials, and you have to scan them, and then it also it takes a picture of your face and does this biometric analysis basically of your face every time we wanted to get in and out or into the village, and then into any of like our training or racing venues. So I don't know if any of you guys had the same experience, but it seemed that I had to stand at, especially the one in the village, I had to, I think, scan in like 5 times just so that I could get my face lined up with the biometric scanner every time.
Yeah.
So I was just,
my guy kept having that problem. It was funny because here I am, I can't really see where to look. I get it on the first try, and then it's like messing up for him every time. I'm like, see, bruh, they don't like you.
Oh my gosh, crazy. So I mean, like, we all have these little funny highlights or moments. Like for each of you guys, like, what it doesn't have to be in your race or in your event or anything like that, but like, is there a highlight or an exciting moment or part of the Tokyo Paralympic experience that kind of stands out in each of your minds? And I guess we'll go ahead and we'll kick it over to, we'll start with you, Kim.
I was hoping you wouldn't start with me.
Wish, hope, and pray all you want.
God.
There's just so many, isn't there, Kim?
Yeah, there's so many. And the 400, where I didn't think that I would even medal, and I did. It was, one of the highlights was actually, so my husband is actually on the team too. And at the games, pin trading is a really popular thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up standing outside of the dining hall for like a good couple of hours, just like trading pins with other countries. And after being in the pandemic and just being able to be in Tokyo and be with the other countries and try to communicate with them, but knowing that, like, you both want to trade these pins and you're looking at each other's pins. And I don't know, that was like a really exciting part to me because, we didn't know how it would be when we got there, if we would just always be on lockdown and stuff like that. So just being able to interact with other countries and see their smiling faces too was really awesome.
Yeah, awesome. I gotta agree with her there. I mean, the pin trading stuff is super cool. I mean, in Rio, I really enjoyed that. in Tokyo. I mean, I did the same thing. I mean, I all the countries for opening ceremonies, they were like lined up in lines and stuff, waiting to get on the buses. I just walked down the line of like countries, just being like, oh, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Yeah. And it's just a super cool thing, I think, with the pins, especially because it brings kind of pretty much to some extent what the Olympic spirit is about bringing countries together and having them interact and stuff with each other and not worry about all other things that are happening around in the world, that we can all come together and compete in sport and be united in that. And so, I mean, you get pins from all different countries. I got pins from Israel and Iran. And so, I mean, like, it's like you can get pins from everybody. It's a super cool experience. So I would agree. That's probably one of my favorite ones. And then I think also just the pump up time before opening ceremonies with just the USA people outside of our building. That's super fun. Just all of us getting together and being just super supportive and getting everybody excited for the week ahead. But yeah.
What about you, Amy? What was one of your favorite moments?
Well, I have three. So the first one is the volunteers, for sure. I thought like we didn't have fans per se, or actually in triathlon, I was saying we were lucky enough to have fans, but the volunteers, even when we went to the pool for swim practice, they were clapping and applauding as we were walking on the pool deck and like bowing in our direction. And I thought that was just so sweet. And they had us signing their hats, their shirts, giving us pins, giving us little gifts of origami. One volunteer at the pool, his wife made a little scarf or handkerchief for us, and he gave each of the girls a handkerchief. So that was really just wonderful. And they kept saying, please, we were communicating through Google Translate because a lot of the volunteers didn't speak English. And so we were going back and forth, and they were telling us, please come back, next year when the pandemic is over, and please come visit our country. We would be honored to have you back. So that was really heartwarming and really made it such an incredible experience. The second one is watching my teammate Kendall Gretsch win her race in the women's wheelchair race in triathlon in a sprint finish, literally coming down to the last 10 meters and passing the Australian athlete. Like, I lost my voice for 3 days afterwards. I've never screamed so hard in my life. And the whole team was there to support her. And it was just, I get goosebumps even just talking about it. It was a superhuman effort. I don't know where she even got the thought in her head that she could even catch this girl, because the girl was far enough ahead that it was almost physically impossible to catch her, but yet she did. So that was super exciting to be there and witness that live. And then I would say the third thing is the night after our race, one of the physios in the Team USA building, this guy Masa, he's from Seattle, and he was incredible. He did a lot of acupuncture on my hip and whatnot while I was there. And I noticed that one day he had ordered sushi for some of the Team USA doctors. And I said, hey, we're so sick of cafeteria food. Any chance you can hook us up? And he was like, yeah. He's like, but you got to come up with an extra $50 to pay off the guard at the gate. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. Because we got 6 of us together. And we're like, okay, it's $5 or whatever a piece. So totally worth it in order to get some good sushi. And he's originally from Tokyo and moved to Seattle, and his family was still there. So he knew the best places to go for sushi. And so we ordered $300 worth of sushi and had this amazing dinner while watching the gold medal men's wheelchair rugby game in the athlete lounge in the Team USA building. And it was some of the best sushi of my life. And it was just so fun to be able to just sit down and have a real meal with everybody. Because as you know, we were sort of in lockdown. We weren't allowed outside of the Paralympic village. And so that was our one fun meal and fun experience, other than maybe going to the store to go buy swag for our family and friends. But that was our only real outside the village, quote unquote, experience.
So, Amy, I don't think you cheered hard enough for Kendall, because I lost my voice for 2 weeks after that. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. David, I mean, what about you, man? Like, what experiences or moments kind of stand out for you?
Man, I can't follow all those.
Sure you can.
Especially cheering for Kendall. But
that was a unique experience.
Yeah, two experiences for me about these games was I will agree with Amy, as she said, the volunteers and the people there, very supportive, very excited. I went to Tokyo actually in 2019, and I was with NHK Media. I was doing some filming over there, and when I came back, they were like, "Hi, Mr. Brown, do you remember us?" And no, they were just so excited to see me, and which was pretty cool that they even remembered me. And then just all the people that I interacted with as far as the Japanese people and the culture and stuff, they gave us a goodie bag when I was leaving the airport, which was awesome. But ate those treats as soon as I got on the plane, and I tried to say something for my at that time fiance. She got a couple of things. And then the second, and I think the biggest thing for me was experiencing these games with my new guide, Moray Stewart. This guy, he, up until this point, never left San Diego. And this whole season, just to see him light up as he was going different places, and as we were telling him the potential that he was, he had within this sport. When we got to Tokyo, it was, it warmed my heart to see how he just lit up and was just like, man, we're actually here. And then to get into the village, to watch him opening his stuff, to hear him like, okay, we get a Samsung phone. He's like, oh man, I can give this to my grandma. My grandma needs a phone, and all this other stuff, just to hear him, embracing all this stuff, and to just, man, I can get all this food here and all this gear here, and they got laundry over here. And then just like I said, experienced all that with him. It just brought me back to my first games in 2012. And I was like, man, this is cool. And to get to know him too, at the same time, I just met him for the first time back in May of this year. And, put two together here. I just met the dude back in May. A couple of months later, we're competing in Tokyo. Yeah, that's what made it hard too. But just to get to know him, it was like, man, this dude, he's funny. Like, he's cool, chill, down to earth. And like, yeah, this is my dude right here. So that was really fun, just to experience the games alongside him.
That's awesome. So we've actually mentioned, we've all mentioned it a couple of times, but I want to just have two quick little fun things we can go pretty quickly with these. But what was everyone's favorite like food item or food experience in, it could be in the village or out, or just in general, and then also what was everyone's favorite piece of swag that you got, either from Team USA or just swag in general that you're able to pick up while you were over there in Tokyo. So David, since you mentioned both of them at the in there, why don't we kick it off with you, man?
Yeah, because I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, okay, was it the Japanese treats, or I'm trying to think of the stuff that I had in the cafeteria. I always like, I don't know, foreign Powerade. It tastes different. Japanese Powerade. Oh, I think my favorite like treat that I had, it was this Kit Kat that I had. We went over to Japan before the village actually opened up. We were there for a training camp, and we walked to this gas station. One of my roommates, he got these Kit Kats, and he let me try one of the Kit Kats. I think it was cookie and cream. That was that was good. It was good. And then my favorite swag item from the bag or something. honestly, let's see. Maybe the sweatpants. I mean, I always wear sweats because it seemed like when I get back from a trip or get some USA gear, my wife, she always takes my shirts, my jackets, mostly my jackets and stuff. So it's like I don't get to wear all my stuff. I really liked a few of the jackets that we got. I'm trying to think of the one, how to describe it. It has like the USA on the front and the zipper goes down like the S or something like that.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I got. Did we get that?
I don't think
I
got that.
I don't know.
Either.
I don't think I got that one. That might be a track. I think
We
they were
all get
treating
different
track.
gear.
I think track and field.
Track and field get a couple
special.
extra special gear.
Must.
I really like the jeans though this year too. I got to wear. I didn't go to opening ceremonies. We had a reception. My family had a reception for us. I actually wore my opening ceremonies gear to the reception, and that stuff was really cool. Got to swag out in that a little bit. So I always try to rock those ceremony gears, uniforms every once in a blue moon,
Kim, what about you? What was your any food fun memories and favorite swag?
So it's funny that David said his wife always takes his stuff, because my favorite item is this sweatshirt that I stole from my husband.
Oh, wow.
Of course it is.
Poor Eric.
And it's the one that has USA on it. And it has the Japanese underneath the USA. It's the sweatshirt. It's really comfortable.
Yeah, the hood. Is it the hoodie?
It's a blue.
Yeah,
it's
hoodie.
blue.
Yep. That's a good one.
That's comfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
That's my favorite. Currently wearing it, and I love it. And then my favorite food, hands down. Okay, actually, there's two. I just remembered. But there was this at the halal station. I don't know if you guys tried, but there was this. They called it naan, but I don't think it was actual naan. It was like this flaky bread tortilla thing.
It was haratha.
Yeah, it was like buttery and warm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because that was actually my favorite piece of food.
I didn't even come across it.
Yeah, it was at the halal station in the dining hall. It was outstanding. I got like probably 3 pieces of that every single meal.
Same, and then and they had the banana fritters too.
Oh yeah,
so good. But
that sounds good. Oh my god, I messed up.
Now I have buttery flakiness.
Oh, so good. Ben, what about you, man?
Well, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, Japan cafeteria food so much better than Rio. I'm just gonna say that out there right now. But
I'll agree with that. I said I'll agree with that.
Yep, I do agree there with you, David, too. Like, yeah, their Powerade obviously tastes different, and then they have that Bukhari Sweat, that that drink that they have there in all the vending machines as well. And then I think one of my favorite foods was probably at the casual dining. So that's where I like to go for dinner and stuff. It was just super easy. It was kind of like, I guess you'd call it like tapas style. And you just get a bunch of different things in little containers. And then, the mochi balls, those are super good.
Mochi, so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so good with the honey. Oh yeah. So that was probably one of my favorite things there. Obviously, Japan made some great beef rice, and then I always dig those little Japanese omelets, the little rectangle ones, the sweet omelets. Those are usually pretty good too. But yeah, so I think the food was pretty good. They did even have sushi. I assume, yes, that the sushi from outside the city was probably better, but a lot more expensive, obviously, than free. But just having it was cool. And then as far as gear goes, I think the sweatshirts were really on point this year. I mean, there was a lot of them that were solid. From gear that we got there, obviously sunglasses, always digging them. Oakleys are always great to have. And then I guess overall though, I mean, we didn't get it in Tokyo, but I mean, Intel and Samsung, I mean, stepping up to get a computer to help us transition from sports, if you're doing that as well, into rest of your life. So, I mean, that's a great addition there.
Awesome. And then Amy, what about you? I guess we could all probably guess at your favorite food experience, but what about you in terms of the food experience and the favorite swag?
Well, definitely the takeout sushi that we got was my favorite. And then as far as
tasty.
Yeah, it was pretty darn good. And then for the cafeteria food, I'm gluten and dairy free, so I had to be really careful and keep it pretty boring. So I lived on the pho, the Vietnamese pho, which was delicious. So that was pretty awesome. So it's like the pho and rice diet all week. And then, but then after I competed, I probably ate my weight in the gyoza, the Japanese dumplings. I love those.
So good.
They were so good. I literally
good.
just ate an entire plate of them after my race. I was like, this is going down. And then I would say I have so many favorite pieces of swag. I would say the USA slides from Nike. I wear those to the pool every day right now, so they're getting a lot of use. And I would say the USA Nike Fly Ease shoes that we got, they have like a weird pod in the forefoot. They're like super springy. They remind me of like kangaroo shoes.
Yeah.
So they're cool. Super bouncy. So they're my new travel shoe. Like when I'm like, we're leaving for Abu Dhabi this weekend for World Championships. And so they're like my new airport shoe because they're super comfy and springy. I don't know if I would run in them, but they're certainly great for walking around. And then all the hoodies. I mean, like I'm a hoodie fanatic. So like I'm living in the Nike hoodies. There's a cropped one for the ladies. And then there's a regular one that's sort of like a light gray and it's got dark blue inside of it. And it's got the Paralympic logo on the chest. And I live in it every day. It's already like disgusting and I love it. And I live in baseball hats. So I'm getting the full rotation of like the 4 or 5 hats that we got because I just out here in the San Diego sunshine, you definitely need good eye protection. So between that and the sunglasses, it was a pretty great piece of swag. And I would say the most useful is the Airbnb gift certificates that we all got. I'm trying to plan a trip with my guide once our season is over to Hawaii. So we're going to do an Airbnb and use that gift certificate. So that was really helpful.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, I feel bad because I just said Kit Kats and I left it at that. Everybody said something about the calf, but my favorite item in the cafeteria, let me bring that back there. I'm also gluten and dairy free, so I was living off of the chicken that they were having, and I had quite a bit of good pieces of chicken. And there was this one chicken that I had. I don't know what sauce it was, but it said gluten-free, and it was good. You mix that with some rice, yeah.
Look at athletes, always bringing it back to food.
Oh yeah.
That's what Kim does.
That's what I always do, guys. Come on.
You've established that in Japan.
Hey, I'm the one. I'm the one in the weight management sport, though. I know how.
I don't know how you do it, then.
It's an interesting time. There's some days we don't eat much in the cafeteria, and there's some days where you eat a lot. Post competition, some strong meals there.
I did wrestling in high school. I do not miss having to be in like a weight class sport like that.
Same.
That's gonna be an interesting thing there too, with not changing weight classes probably here in judo for IPSA judo. So that'll be an interesting thing.
That'll be interesting. All right, guys, we're gonna start to go ahead and wrap it up here, closing in on an hour. So, but just one final question for everybody. You knew it was coming. So we're gonna go right down the line. Will we see you going for Paris 2024? Ben.
Just because I said something. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do my best to be out there and to participate in the upcoming quad and represent the U.S. Obviously, I'll be entering my 30s next year, so life is changing, but I am going to do my best.
Kim.
Yeah, I always say I'm taking it 1 year at a time. Thought I was going to retire after Rio, went to Tokyo. Now after in Tokyo, I'm like, I'm going to Paris. It's only 30 years. I can do this. So yep, I'm starting training this week and we're going for Paris.
Awesome. David.
We'll see.
Yeah, newly married man over here.
I mean, of course, and I say this just because I'm still going to be involved in sport, sure. But whether or not it'll be with track, we'll see.
Ooh,
maybe a sport change. So
maybe a little teaser for some some stuff coming up later in the week that we'll be talking about. I have an idea of
I think you do have an idea.
Might be thinking about.
You guys keeping secrets over here.
We'll let everybody in on it soon.
A USABA exclusive.
Exactly, right?
Amy, how's that sommelier training? We're gonna see it put to use.
Well, I spent 20 years as a sommelier, as a wine expert, and so unfortunately, I don't live in the right part of the country to continue doing that. However, my background is in equestrian sport. And I used to compete professionally and teach and have a string of horses that I would train and students. So I may get back to doing that, and there's a therapeutic riding center out here in San Diego that I'm going to get involved with. But I'm still keeping my foot in the door with paratriathlon. I'm still ranked in the top 10. And as long as I'm ranked in the top 10, I'm going to continue racing. I don't have funding for next year, which makes racing a little bit more challenging because you needed to finish top 5 in Tokyo in order for that to continue, along with other criteria. And I didn't race enough this season because I wasn't healthy. But I am dabbling with track cycling starting next month. So once we get through World Championships, there's a velodrome here in San Diego in Balboa Park. I have a pilot out here. I'm excited to announce who that is. She's a world champion cyclist and is going to come out of retirement and pilot me on the velodrome. So we'll see. There's world championships for that coming up at the end of March. And I also have Pan American championships for triathlon that month too. So it'll be interesting to see how that complements my triathlon. And if I want to continue swimming, biking, and running. I've lost so much speed in swim and run because of the lung function. So I think that moving over to a sprint-based sport might be better because I just don't have that aerobic capacity that I had before. But we'll see. As long as I always said, as long as I'm competitive and I'm not a dinosaur, I'll continue doing triathlon. But I will bow out gracefully, if the next generation comes along. And plus, I run a camp for blind athletes called Camp No Sight, No Limits, which USABA has been generous to support in the past. And so if it's not going to be me in Paris, I would love to have the honor of coaching the next up and coming Paralympic star in triathlon. So we shall see. Wow, that's awesome. So we've got 2 definites. One we'll see, and we got some
this will be an interesting 3-year cycle, guys. I definitely, I mean, Amy, come on.
What about you, Kyle?
Yeah, what about you?
Over here analyzing all of us.
He's in.
Look at
him. He's got the bug.
Taking fifth place. Yeah, and you finish. When there's only a 49-second spread from second to fifth. You can't not go back and at least take one more crack at it. So I'll be back. But we got some young whippersnappers nipping at my heels in triathlon. So if I can pull it off, you guys know I'll be back there, ready to enjoy Paris with everybody. But,
as you said, it's only 3 years, Kyle.
3 years. I ain't getting any younger, but we'll see how it goes.
You all need to just shut the front door because I'm 45 years old. Shut up, all of you.
Amy,
I love you all.
Amy, stop telling lies. We all know women stop aging at 29.
See, that's why you're my friend. Bless your heart.
Awesome, guys. So this is just so much fun. Just thank you everyone for coming on, for having some fun today with the Paralympic panel. I know we've probably had some questions that get dropped into the Facebook Live comments. So what we'll do is we'll do our best to answer those. Maybe each of us will go in and take a few minutes to try and answer your questions directly on Facebook Live. Unfortunately, I think we're getting a little short on time here. We were all just so busy having fun here that I totally we didn't get the chance to answer all those questions live, but why don't we do this? Bill, why don't you read us out? Pick us out one question that all of our panelists can answer from the Facebook Live chat. And what we'll do is the question that Bill asks, we'll try to hook up that person with a USABA 45th anniversary piece of swag.
Oh, wow. Actually, Kyle, we don't have any questions, but I will post. Yeah, no, believe it or not, I will post in there for people to submit after the fact, and we can go back in and answer them that way. Though.
Perfect. We'll do that. Awesome, guys. Well, guys, we have come to the close. National Blind Sports Week, presented by Healthy Vision Association, is officially kicked off. Thank you to our wonderful panelists, David Brown, track and field, Kim Crosby, track and field, Ben Goodrich, Judo, Amy Dixon, Paratriathlon. Thank you guys so much for taking just a little bit of time out of your crazy busy schedules. I know we're all spread across the world. I'm up here in Canada for a bit. Ben's over there in Sweden. David and Kim, David, Kim, and Amy. Actually, you guys are all in California.
We all in the same neck of the woods right now.
What in the world? You're all in San Diego too. But
the place to be, man. You got to move out here.
They're just trying to stay warm. It's okay.
Yeah.
We
it's supposed to be raining today, so.
We have that bomb cyclone that hit Sacramento yesterday coming our way this afternoon. So.
Yeah.
Ooh, well,
indoor training
everyone
day.
Indoor training day.
Well, stay safe, stay dry. Once again, thank you guys so much, and everybody out there in Facebook Live land, everyone out there in the USABA family, stay tuned. All week we're putting out stuff. Tomorrow we have our goalball panel that'll be run by Kevin Broussard, and we'll have the two Paralympic goalball coaches on there. Wednesday, I will be back with you Wednesday evening. I'll be having a chat with ultramarathoner and legendary guide Scott Jurek on Wednesday. And Thursday, we're going to be talking a little bit about five-a-side football, or as we in the USA call it, blind soccer. and then on Friday, you guys, we're also having a wellness day where I'll be chatting with some wellness experts, and we'll be posting up some stuff to keep us all in tune with our bodies throughout the day. And also Friday morning, if you have not already checked it out, we are hosting Breakfast with Champions, USABA. It's a big old fun breakfast for those of us that are going to be in Colorado Springs. But if you would like to join us virtually, you can. So Bill will drop the link to Breakfast with Champions, telling you how to join us for that event virtually on Friday morning.
I'll make myself breakfast in bed.
There you go. There you go. breakfast in bed. For Ben, it'll be breakfast, or lunch with champions, I guess. Right? Yeah. But yeah, guys. So stay tuned, everybody. We got stuff coming to you daily, and of course, when you guys do post up on social media all this week, make sure you use those hashtags Blind Sports Week and hashtag Blind Sports Day, National Blind Sports Day, of course, on Saturday, October 30th. So once again, everybody, thank you so much. Thank you, USABA, for hosting National Blind Sports Week. Thank you to all of our partners, in particular, Healthy Vision Association, for allowing us to do all of this. So like we said, guys, during these Facebook Lives, post some questions in there, and we will do our best to answer them. If you go in, we'll try to answer your questions individually. So thank you guys so much. Take it easy. We will see you back here tomorrow afternoon/evening for the goal ball panel. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks for having us,
Kyle.
everybody. And
see you
see ya.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hope the rest of the week goes well.
All right.